So with the release of 7.4 and the 2026 new year, Yoshi-P has been doing a lot of interviews and discussions. And something that has been coming up consistently is making changes to character customization, which is personally one of my favorite things about gaming. In fact, recently one of my friends has started Final Fantasy XIV, and I wanted to create an alt character to play alongside her. So I created this new bunny girl. Everybody say hi. She apparently doesn't know where she is. And looking at all the options here, it made me think what changes could possibly be coming to character customization. So in this video, I wanted to list 10 aspects of the character customization that I think could be expanded upon. So let's just dive straight into number 1, skin color. Now this is something Yoshi-P has actually confirmed in an interview, that this is one of the aspects that the team is currently looking into changing, adding more skin colors. Now this is great for a race like the Here, for example, which doesn't have that much diversity in terms of skin color or skin tone. Meanwhile, on the main race that I play, the Ra, we see a lot of different skin colors ranging from bluish greens to, like, you know, the usual skin color. You see some pinks. Now I'm sure that this is for mostly lore reasons, and I don't think it would make that much sense to see like a green Here, for example. However, I do think for a lot of the base races, they just don't have that great of a diverse skin tone range. And I think it's an overall great thing that this is one of the confirmed things they're looking into adding. Alright, for number 2, now this is more of a personal thing. As I mentioned before, I'm an Ra main, but I would love to finally see the horns separated from the face. This feels like that this would be an easy solution because I don't really see a reason why the horns have to be attached to face options. And take the Viera, for example, you can change the ears separate from the face. Now I know that this might be a little bit selfish and it's more of like a me-oriented request, but I'm sure every Ra player will greatly appreciate this. Because I remember when I first made Argon, I wanted this face, but with these horns, and I wasn't able to do it. So I had to make a compromise that I liked this face option more. And I don't want to make compromises like that. I want to make my character look like the way I want him to look like. So number 3, in general, just more face options. Now I have the here, and they have by far the most amount of face options. You have 7 options right here, which is a decent amount. Then compare that to the most recently released race in the female Hrothgar, and you only have 4 facial options. And in fact, that goes for the majority of the races in this game. You just don't get a lot of face options. Now, ideally, in a situation like this, I almost wish that there was a subcategory for the face where you can go in there and, like, say this option, for example, adjust the jaw. Do things like customize how much the eye goes into the face. If they really had, like, sliders, for example, if this height slider was a slider for, say, the jaw, and the jaw gets bigger the more you make the number bigger. Other games have options like that for character customization, and I'm not sure if that is something they want to add into the game, but I think it would make it fantastic. But sadly, it might have to be the case that we have to settle for these preset options. So number 4, more and better beards. Now, not many races have beards, and I think they should get them, you know, if it's lore accurate. I might as well put a disclaimer here. If anything I say here is not lore accurate, then basically forget I suggested it. But the beards can be a lot better. I've seen a lot of people talk about this. I think Xenos talks about this all the time in terms of character customization. And I think it's a very valid critique. I wish there was a lot more beard options than, say, just this. Also take the male Makote, for example. They really, in my opinion, got the short end of the stick with facial hair. Alright, next, I'd like to see more and honestly brighter hair options. And I'm pretty sure that they can accomplish this because after looking at the Arcadian characters, and honestly most of the NPCs in Solution 9 have super bright hair colors. And I honestly wish we had those hair colors in game, because I believe that these don't really come close to how bright the hair colors are in Solution 9. I'm sure that there are some lore reasons for that, but I just think in general that making the hair colors more saturated and brighter, and honestly, once again, just having more options will just be better. And the next thing I want to see is more hairstyle options. Looking at the male Aura here, I kinda don't think we have the best individual exclusive male Aura hair options. Like, look at this for example, as compared to say male Vieira, which has some of the best looking hair in the game. Now, I'm not saying give like every single race like this magnificent hair, elegant hair like every Vieira, because I do think that is very cool for the inherent Vieira race, and it matches them more as opposed to, you know, seeing that very elegant hair on this Lalafell, for example, probably would not really fit. But I still do think that the races pre-Shadowbringers kind of have not the best hair options. However, I will note that as soon as I saw the female Hrothgar hair options, I honestly feel bad for the Hrothgar because they have so little options. Look at this. I hope you like one of these hairstyles because these are the only options you get. Even though these are very few hair options, they still look great in my opinion compared to the base race hair options and the Aura, sadly. Alright, next, I would like to see this muscle tone option for every single race. I think it's really cool that the Hero get this option. Granted, looking at it, I think all it really does is just add shadows to where the muscles would be to make it look a bit more defined. But I still think that this is a really cool option, especially in like the roleplay scenarios where you can make your Warrior of Light a bit muscular or a bit more flabby. I think seeing this option expanded to every other race in the game would be really cool. So while editing this video, I came across this article that also talked about how muscle tone is apparently coming to the Bunny Boys, and maybe it potentially means that this muscle tone slider is coming to every race in the game as well. The article didn't really list a source to this or anything. I assume it came from the same interview where Yoshi-P talked about skin tone, but once again, the article doesn't link to it, so I can't verify it. But I'm sure you guys read the full Yoshi-P interview and will let me know in the comments if this is correct or not. So tattoos. I think we could use more tattoos. Granted, looking here at the female Highlander, there really isn't many options. You get 2. Some, I believe you get a bit more. No, I might be wrong. There might be just 2 tattoo options for every race. Yeah, I believe there's only 2. They could definitely add a lot more of tattoo options, and once again, I think it would be pretty cool to see what people can come up with. Okay, next, this is more of just like a general note, less of like adding more options. I mean, in a certain sense, I guess, but I'd love to see more like areas here or better lighting, different lighting. I personally always felt like the areas and the lightings here were never that great. Even after they did the update of the 7.0 benchmark, I still feel like this could be improved. Next could be kind of considered a meme, but I still think it would be a cool thing to see. I think including a butt... Okay, maybe we don't need a butt slider. Sorry, I almost think I had a heart attack. Okay, I meant that more as a joke, but I guarantee you a lot of people would like to see the butt slider come in and have an option for that. I don't really see the harm in having an option for that. Like, they very aren't afraid to do that. We have the 2B pants in the game. They are not afraid of making people's glutes bigger. Trust me. Alright, so I believe this is number 11, and I think I'm going to include this as a bonus thing. I would love to see more clans added for each race, with different lore implications and stuff like that. Because every race has 2, and I do think it would be cool to see this a bit more expanded. Granted, this might have to do something with the lore thing like I mentioned earlier, in that this might interfere with it to some extent, but I do think it'd be kind of like a cool idea if they did add like more clans to each race. I feel like there are always ways to add more lore on top of the lore that is already existing without trampling upon it, and I think they could do something like that. I don't know. Once again, I am not a lore expert. Maybe there is a very good specific reason why there has to be 2 clans to every single race, but I do just want to throw it out there to say that this could be a cool option as well. Well, anyway guys, those are like my 10 things that I'd love to see added to in the game. Also, can I just say I love the fact that they added the combat sounds that these voices make, because trust me, I have created characters in the past that I created them, I made their voice and everything, and then I get in game, I whack somebody with my paladin sword, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wow, I really hate the sounds my character makes in combat. So I'm very glad that they added this option, and I'm looking forward to what they add in the future to character customization. There are so many things that I left off the list. Looking on the 14 forums, I saw a lot of people suggest some pretty creative additions. For example, freckles, half Ellison ears, mirroring hair, and custom character animations, which I could make an entirely separate video just on custom character animations. But feel free to mention any additional changes you'd like to see the character customization in the comments section. So yeah, I think I'll wrap it up here. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you'd like to hear more analysis, commentary, and discussion videos on Final Fantasy XIV. I'm Argon, see you next time.